whether anything happens then. Can you hear me now? Still not? Nope. And I'm not on mute, so I really don't know why I can't hear you and you cannot hear me. Okay, we'll have to try Skype then. Is that okay? Let's go to the chat.
Yes. Do you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear that?
We got it, yes.
What did you do?
I don't know. I tried first to do it with my headphones, but it didn't work. So I do it now per computer. So with the computer.
Yeah, it doesn't work on a phone. You mean headphones, yeah.
Headphones, yeah. But it didn't work with the headphones. So now I'm doing with the computer.
Okay, yeah, I also had to do that. I had to unplug my microphone also. So maybe that's the solution to the problem I've been having. No headphones.
No headphones, yeah.
Strange, but yeah. Okay, great. That's progress. How are you?
I'm good. Waiting, packed all my my things to take the plane this afternoon. So.
Yeah, where are you going to again?
I'm going to Amsterdam for the work.
Okay. Oh yeah, is your work, because we wanted to, I wanted to ask you about your burnout experience. Has your work got anything to do with it too?
Is it still the work that was related to my burnout? Do you mean?
No, the work you're doing now.
This one for Amsterdam. No, it hasn't any. It's still. I'm taking care about one of my clients' wealth, and he has a hub in Holland, so I have regularly to go to visit them there.
Okay, because I don't know what you do professionally. That's
okay. Do you? So I didn't. What I'm doing professionally, basically, I'm a tax lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer, basically. I worked in social insurance during years, and after I moved to the tax company, I took over the accounting firm from my father, and then I moved it a little bit. We are like now a one-stop shop company, which gives from accounting services to legal services, basically from tax consultancy to financial consultancy, and yeah.
Okay, so when did you have burnout, and what were you doing professionally when you got burnout? Can you tell me?
I was doing that. I was managing this company with 16 people. And I was when I had it, it was the first stroke came on the 19th of March 2018. It was an ischemic stroke. It brought me to hospital because I was like left side paralyzed.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's serious, because you're very young, so you don't expect this in young people.
No, not at all.
And you didn't have any genetic reasons to get a stroke? Was just
not really. It was just like overwhelming stress that I think brought. I have a high. The only thing that could have led to this is that I'm really mostly high tense. I have a blood pressure which is quite high already naturally. And so I think it came to a point, when the car is driving in the red zone, and one day it explodes. And I think I was too long in that red zone without considering the
warning signs.
What?
Warning signs.
Yeah. I had a lot of when I'm looking back now to that, I just noticed that that my body was warning me already more than 1 year.
Yeah, can Yes, I love to share this. If we use this video, I love to share what the early warning signs were that you should have listened to, but you didn't, so that other people can also learn from that. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, without any problem. With
Right.
pleasure. I was living constantly with a headache.
Yeah.
I had like a constant headache.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like eating pills to get rid of it. And I was telling myself, yeah, that's why, because I'm not drinking enough, because I'm just like maybe not doing enough sports. And I just like, well, I woke up with a headache. I went to bed with a headache. It's just like, and not this really hard headaches, which really when you do something, but this constant feeling of having something, pressure, some pressure, in the
Absolutely.
and
I know that.
sleeping issues, these moments when you have like an 8-hour sleep and you wake up in the morning like you haven't slept at all. That was like the last months before my stroke was I had the feeling I didn't rest at all.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that they wake up in the morning as if a truck hit them. That's what I feel like. And I remember that feeling also because I had burnout twice. And the first time as a medical student, when I had to work days and nights 2 weeks in a row, and then I had to do an exam the next day, the morning of the exam, I just couldn't move. It was like I was completely paralyzed. I could hardly talk. They didn't diagnose me with stroke. I had a really good doctor who visited me, and he actually just said, you're just exhausted, you completely ran out of steam, and he gave me supplementation and rest. And the first time I got over it relatively well, although I underperformed on my exams because of it. And in medical school, if you don't have the highest grades, it stays with you forever, because still now that I'm a doctor for 25 years, they still ask to see my exam results, whenever I apply for a job. Even I've been proving for 25 years that I'm great at what I do, but it's like it was a serious dip in my academic career, let's say it like that. And and the second time I suffered it took me years to get out of it. So I understand the sleeping is really a problem for me. It's waking up tired, but also I woke up in the middle of the night a lot worrying about like what's wrong, and I can't keep on doing this. I already started hating my job and stuff like that, just because I was too exhausted to cope with all of it. So what else did you experience? Did you also have like mood swings? Mood, like a bad mood, were you in a bad mood?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it was not only it was not a question of hating my job. It was like a constant feeling of I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like it was a constant feeling of this kind of feeling that you are just like not like you told me, not performing, and I had this feeling of being not performant all the time. And every time when an issue came on the work, which is usual in my job and I think in yours too, is that I had the feeling it was my fault, and it was just like always taking all the problems and taking them over. And even though if nobody asked me to take that problem over, I just put it on my back, and I was just like believing that I wasn't worth anymore for this job, and that I should never have been a business owner, and I shouldn't. Yeah. Well, I was just good enough to work as a secretary, like, why did you study so much? And because you're not.
I recognize that typically also the personality types that get burnout are the ones that always want to do a lot of the work themselves, because I see, and also who want to be perfect. So they always like try to be better, and they think they have to be perfect at everything. So they set the bar really high for themselves. So once anything goes wrong, you start beating yourself up and saying, I'm not good enough. So that is a big thing that I teach my clients to get over that. And also one of the mistakes I see people make who get burnout is they don't reach out for help, and they think they have to do everything themselves. So they, I remember when I had burnout the second time, when I just had a baby and I was still working full time. I mean, one of the good things I did was to hire somebody to help me in the housekeeping, and also maybe hire somebody to watch my baby one day and night so I could get out. And those were the good things that I did. And a lot of people don't do that, because at that stage, even my husband said like, oh no, we need to do everything ourselves. You can't just ask somebody else to watch your baby and stuff like that. That is wrong, because when we have a lot on our plate, it's okay to ask for help. It's to ask to hire somebody to offload. I'm sure in your job, there's some things you could offload to other people.
Yeah, right? Definitely. But I learned it the hard way, because when I had my stroke, because I had 3 strokes in a row, wow. Which means that on the 19th, on the 22nd, on the 23rd, I was brought 3 times in the hospital because 3 times paralyzed. And the second time when I collapsed at work, so which makes a lot of I think you can imagine. I have a business partner. Okay, we are 2 in managing the company, but anyway, it's the boss that goes away on the I don't know how to call that, and the where the ambulance is going. They just brought me away like this from work, and that's a traumatizing moment for everybody, for the team, for me, for my father, who was still working in the company at this time, and just like you have this my father. I think the worst thing was my father. I had the feeling of betraying him, and he had the feeling that when his baby was killed by his other baby, and that was really, really hard between us at this moment to cope. But at this time I had to learn in the hard way, because my business partner came to the hospital and said, now we are going to take care about you, and I don't want to see you in the office until September. And I was like, but I have so much to do. Yeah. And I just don't want to see you in the office till September. And I was like, that's crazy. Still, I didn't do it. So I came back and just like tried to get over and finish what I had to finish. But in our work, nothing is ever finished until the moment when I just like say, okay, no, now I can't. And we have to hire somebody to take over my job. Mm-hmm. And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I do think this is a very important step in somebody's spiritual growth, because I don't know whether it was the same for you, but I think a lot of doctors are identified a lot with their profession, and they get self-worth from the work they do. So as long as they're doing that work well, they feel I'm good enough. And then something happens to you where you can't work anymore. It happened to me also. I took 6 months off, and I had to like find a word deeper down inside me without getting word from being a doctor. And I guess it's the same for other people who have a profession like a lawyer or a tax accountant or both like you. It's like you have to basically, what saved me, I think, in that aspect is I was very, very down, and a friend took me to see a reverend, and he was a very nice man. And basically what really touched me, that he listened to my story and how I was beating myself up because I couldn't perform at 100% like I used to. And he said, darling, God loves you no matter what, you're good enough. And that really like hit me really deep. No matter what you do, I'm not a super religious people, but it really resonated with me when he said, no matter what you do, you are enough, and, you're a child of God and you are important. It's not what you do, it's who you are and all of that. I really had to start thinking about who am I when I'm not busy doing these things. And I think that really changes a person, and it's a big spiritual growth in a way that you realize like, wow, there's more to me than just what I do. And you can go really deep into the value of your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, and also spiritually. And then, I mean, if you grow even further, you can start realizing how do you make a difference in other people's lives too. And that also gives you value. But even if you don't do that, even if you just tired in bed, you still deserve to live, and you're still good enough. And it's hard. I think a lot of people need help with that, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's funny because your history is just like ringing a bell, because I had quite the same experience, but it wasn't irreverent. It was just like when I tried my best, when I came back to work and tried to finish and was struggling, was nearly crying every day. You know, I was sitting in my office and I was just crying. And at this time, one friend of me came at my place, and she just like came and put a paper on the table. And I was just looking at that. I don't want to make some reclam, so I'm just like, it was a ticket to see a self-help guru, like one of the top. May I say the names or?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, not a problem.
Okay, it was a ticket to see Tony Robbins at UPW in London, and I was like, oh, why do you offer a ticket? And she said, you need it, and I said, no, take it back. And she said to me, no, I'm not going to take it back. You do what you want with that ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not going to take it back. So I went on the internet to look, and I was just like, oh damn, she just offered me like a $1,000 present, and I was like, oh. And so I just took the plane to London and went to see Tony Robbins, and that changed my perspective totally. Not only because Tony Robbins is very good at what he's doing, but when you see all those people around who want to change their life, who believe, who are there with the loving and this energy that comes from this kind of events.
What was the main thoughts change that you had when you were at the event? What was the main breakthrough or aha moment for you?
That I am only in my being already somebody that it's worth and enough.
Yeah.
And that's after I had to work on this, on what do I really want, who I am really, in the way that, you know, I had only my work. And when you say that my worth was coming from my work, it was definitely that. Because I had no family. Also, I had my parents, sure, but I had no boyfriend. I had no children. I had no. I had friends. I had some kind of social life, but everything was linked to the work. Even my family was linked to the work, due to the fact that I'm working with my father. So my whole life, that means social life, private life, that was linked to the work. So the only thing that I was able to say, when people told me, who are you? I just like answered, I'm a tax lawyer. I'm not Marie. I'm not. I'm just like.
And you identified so much with your work. I know this is one of the major breakthroughs. Maybe why we get burnout is obviously we're doing something wrong, and we're not listening to the early warning signs, and we keep on pushing ourselves, and then we get this bang, and then you get to see everything from a different perspective. And I think it's that's the positive side of having burnout and surviving it, because unfortunately there are people who don't survive this. And that's why I'm on such a big mission I would love to help people recognize the early signs and come to me so I can teach them like how to, boost their self-love without overworking, create time to rejuvenate themselves, to recharge themselves. Also like to be happy with yourself even when you're not perfect. And also some people are in the wrong job, so I really like helping people to find the right job or realize that they're in the right job, and just managing their time and productivity better is already a really handy thing that I've learned that makes me a lot more productive and still gives me some time for myself. But yeah, there's certain character traits that even like now, I don't have to work this weekend, but I'm still doing these interviews because I'm so passionate about getting my word out there, and I would love to help so many more people so they don't have to go through like me, terrible darkness. Because I mean, another thing is you already said that you also got low mood and that you were crying the whole time. That's a sign of depression, really. So that's another thing. I would want to help people before they have to go so deep. I mean, some of my clients also went through burnout and they get divorced because they get really bad mood, and they mess up their relationships because they're so short fused. That's another thing. I helped these several men after divorce to start loving themselves again and getting their life back on track. But it would be even better if I could help people before they, ruin their whole family and their life, and career.
That's one of the main issue, because people will get burnout. Surely mostly it's because you are doing the wrong thing, and there is this dissonance or this non-congruency in your body, in your mind. But I think most people that the others that I met, because I did a lot of things now regarding most people that I met, is a question of overachievers, and it's the thing is that saying to overachievers, you have to step back, you have to breathe, you have just to sit down and to relax and to meditate. I would have, I think people told me that before I had my stroke, there are people that told me that, like, be careful, you're maybe going too far and such and such, but I didn't want to listen to them. It's like that's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to have a burnout.
Yeah.
I'm strong.
I'm in control. That's another thing, control freaks. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't control. And one day the hamster wheel breaks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah.
What is, if you could speak like from your experience now to you before you had burnout, what advice would the older you, with all the wisdom that you have now, say to the younger you? So what would be your...
The first question I was asked myself is for what and for whom are you doing that?
Yeah. And what is the answer?
Strangely said, my father.
Really? Do you think? Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. I do believe a lot has to do with daddy, even though I love my father from the deepest. A lot has to do with him. And he never asked me to do something, but I wanted always to be this kind of, I'm an only child, I wanted always to be this perfect little girl to his eyes. And so when I took the company over, it wasn't really the first thing that I wanted to do in my life. But life led me to do that. And I wanted to change things, but I was always living in this kind of struggle inside. If I'm going to change that, I am going to hurt my father's emotions. And so I think the first person for whom I was like struggling a lot was him. And afterwards it was for recognition and significance, definitely. Because it was the only way, I had the feeling that it was the only way for me to get significance, to get recognition and attention from other people.
Yeah.
And but nobody would love me without me being so smart, so yeah.
So what would you tell the younger you, like, what would you tell her to, so that she can cope, change before you got the burnout? Actually, I mean, what I get is like, you should teach your younger you, love yourself, no matter how you perform. Love yourself more than you don't need recognition from other people.
Help the love yourself, that I have to admit that was something that never resonated in me. I had even such more, this kind of books, love yourself, and I think like I told, the first question I would ask is, for whom are you doing that? And the other thing is that, do you feel well doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it something do you really feel good? It's now, I think if somebody would have told me, like, do you really like what you're doing? Do you really feel well in what you're doing? Are you happy standing up in every morning? When you're a business owner, you should be happy staying up every morning, And I wasn't happy staying up in the morning. It's like, but yeah, I should have this kind of question, and help yourself before trying to help the others.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like that one, because that's exactly what they say when you're in the plane, when they do the safety briefing, right? Put your own oxygen mask on first, and help the others. So I agree with that, because if you don't have enough fuel to keep on going, you cannot help anybody else. And internet is unstable, it says. And
yeah, it's like you freeze several times.
That's not good. That's probably because my children are waking up and all going online now. That's why I like to do it early. Because that's the other thing. Not only do I work full time and I help people see better with eye surgery, but I also have 3 kids, 3 cats, and a dog to care for. So it's essential. And luckily, my family understands that it's essential that I do what I need to do for my own well-being. So if I say, like, hey, I'm going for a massage, nobody complains. They know I need to do these things, or I'm going to the gym. Nobody complains. It's like they know I need to do certain things to nurture myself, to recharge myself, so I can be there for them. So luckily, I don't have that struggle anymore. But in the beginning, when I just got married, and I was leading a nice, balanced life, working hard, but also going to the gym every day and eating healthy and having good social life. And I had a really nice, balanced life. But my husband started complaining he was not seeing me enough. So I stopped exercising every day because he wanted to spend more time with me. And he wanted to drink a bottle of wine with me. And, I fell off my my healthy habits since I got married. And now I realize it's probably one of the mistakes that I made. I mean, I think it's unfair. Your partner asks you don't exercise every day if it's something that me personally is good for me. Not everybody has that person, but a personality type that is an overachiever usually has to burn off some extra energy, so some stress. And a good way to do that is like go for a walk in nature, or just being physically active is a good way for stress relief. And that's why I really love doing that after my work every day, to do something physical, so I can, whether it's going dancing or whatever, walking, running, whatever you can do, because people are really tired, can't do all of that much. But something, even just going to lie amongst the trees outside, or float into warm water, or something physical.
But it's, yeah, I definitely agree. The thing is also to find what helps you really.
Mm.
I am the kind of person like who has dancing and swimming are the two things that really help me. Going to the gym doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, yeah, I
because
understand.
because,
It's
because
fresh.
I
Yeah.
yeah
It
I
has to
need
be something you love also that makes you happy. Not only do we produce happy hormones from any exercise we do, but ideally choose something that you enjoy.
exactly.
Otherwise, it's just going to be another task, and that's stupid because I believe that we have this life to, I mean, that's one of my mottos is I try to have fun every day. So I always build in something that I really enjoy. That's essential for me. If not, I feel like it's a day wasted if I can't have fun. So, and not many people will agree with that. I mean, I come from a background where people say, and you know, you're born, you work, and then you die, and that's life. Well, for me, there should be a lot more to it than just that. I mean, I'm not content with just that. Maybe.
I do agree. I do agree. No, I do totally agree. It's but yeah, I think that's it's one of the keys, and maybe telling to the people that are in this phase where they don't feel good and have this, and like trying to put in every day something which is like doing them. I was asked one day to make a list of 100 things that I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really struggled with that list.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but there are hundreds. There are even more. So I really struggled with the first 20, I think, and then after they came just out like this so easily. It goes from petting the cat to I saw that you have a cat. Me too. So it went to go to from petting the cat to just like phoning to a friend, walking in the nature, and really so easy things, you know, that you can do every day, even if you take only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make 1 hour something that just like putting them. But I think it's the key. It's the key, and I'm trying to put one every morning when I wake up, just like to start in a good mood. So I'm putting mostly music, dancing. I'm dancing, I'm singing in my apartment. I'm still alone, so that helps.
Yeah.
I'm not annoying anybody. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I did the same thing when I took 6 months off. I was really, really tired and exhausted from burnout. And every morning when I woke up my child with dancing music, and we were dancing salsa every morning together, and that was really a good way to start the day.
yeah, that's you can't be unhappy at this moment, you know, like if you like Joseph like McClendon, like stay up and shake your ass, you know, when you're shaking. You just can't be you just can't be
Yeah,
sure at this moment. Yeah.
wow. So it is great actually that I made some notes of the things you were saying, which is really helpful. And it just shows me that I've interviewed quite a lot of people who had burnout, and I do see like a pattern. So yeah, I think that was very useful. Thank you for your time. Is there anything you would like to say or any questions that you have?
Not really questions. The only thing I want to say, if I have to do a testimonial regarding to that and saying to people, I would say trust. I had hard time trusting myself.
Okay.
I will go over this, and some people really helped me in this matter. So and I'm believing now since 1.5 years that is past that trust yourself and trust the universe. It's very hard to say sometimes trust the universe, even for the control, especially for control freak. But it is like this. The universe brings you the people that you need to meet, and definitely, I was looking at how I could also say it out loud and testimonial, and suddenly I was sitting beside of you in an Arabic evening in
Yes.
Algarve,
Yes.
and yeah, it changed. It's like this. Just trust.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's, I think, the most important thing. People have to have trust that things happen for a reason, and that if you believe that, and if you believe that things are going to be better, that they will.
Yeah, hope is a big thing, because if people don't have hope that they will get out of it, then it's really hard to get better. Unfortunately, people who have like deep depression, that's hard for them to even see all of the opportunities that are there, because they're just like looking into the darkness and in the depths of despair. So I'm so happy for you as well as for me that we had friends who reached out to us and who said like, come, you have to go to this and come, and like, that's why another thing that why I like spreading this message is for people who see other people who have burnout, to help them, to say, come, here's a solution for you. You don't have to go through this alone. There are people that can help you. So yeah, that's great. So do you have any idea how I could spread my message more? Do you know any burnout Facebook groups or something?
I don't know. There are there is in Switzerland, but I don't know how far she's talking in English. In Switzerland, you have a woman who is a big specialist on this matter. I'm going to attend a work group with her from October. Her name is Catherine Vazet, Vasey. Catherine.
Yeah, I got it.
She's really, but yeah, I don't, it's like in Switzerland you speak German or French, and I don't know how far her English is good. But yeah, she has groups, she works with groups, and maybe she gets in touch with people who need to do it in English, or it could be a good thing going.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to connect with other people that are on the same mission, so you can help more people. So
exactly.
That was great. Is there anything I could do for you?
I'm pretty good, because I went through it, and I'm my life even though I'm still searching for my purpose totally, but
hey, I can offer you a life purpose journey just because you showed up here. It's something we can do just online. It's like a meditation hypnosis where you find your life purpose journey. So if you have time for that, I can do that for you.
I would definitely love to take time for that. Okay. Not today, sorry, because I have after I will have to run for the train.
Yes,
still finishing. But yeah, I definitely would love to do that.
A nice experience. I recommend it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to list.
And what can I do for you?
If you see anybody who is English speaking or Dutch speaking, because that's my mother tongue actually, who needs help, who you reach, just contact, tell them.
You're talking Dutch is from the ones, but the Dutch spoken in Holland or the Dutch spoken in Belgium?
Yeah, but I've done a lot of my training in Holland actually, so it's not that much different. The written, it's the same, it's just a different accent.
Okay.
So I can do that also.
Yeah, because I'm working with a lot of lawyers in Amsterdam, so they may have one time some burnout issues.
Absolutely. So yeah, please just. I'm here to help, so just let them contact me. And I also have an online program So where people can buy modules just only on how to boost your energy, how to manage your time better, emotional healing of your relationships, life purpose is a part of it, and 2 more modules. So they can get that and get a taster online, trying to do it themselves. There's videos, workbooks, meditations in each module. But if they need help, I am available to help people, especially, you know, the ones that are really deep. I like to pull out people and empower them and then become the best version of themselves again. So yeah, if you bump into anybody who could use my help, please feel free to send them my way. And thank you so much for your beautiful presentation and layout of your experience of burnout. It all makes sense because we went through a similar thing, right? So I'm glad you're doing better. And I'm glad I bumped into you at the Arabian Nights. You see, that I love going to events like that because you have a whole group of high vibration people, and that might be the last thing that I mention that can help people who have burnout, is to surround yourself with positive people. If you have any energy vampires in your life, avoid them, send them away. Because that's true, that's one of the things that can happen for people who always help other people, and some people just don't deserve your constant attention and your energy. You need it, you know, put your own oxygen mask on first. Yeah, so avoid people who are negative and choose people that make you feel alive and happy to spend your time with.
Yeah,
So,
and the A-Fest tribe is just an amazing tribe. It's just like, it was my first one, but definitely not the last.
No, it's, for me, it's my boost, my energy boost, just to surround myself with this amazing crowd of high vibration beings, and I love just butterflying from one person to the next and meeting all of the new people, and everybody's so amazing. And yeah, that's one of the gifts I give to myself to recharge, you know, my happiness and energy levels. Is going to A-Fest. And the dancing and the music, it's all good, it's all part of it, and I love learning also. So yeah, it's a very, very nice combination.
Exactly, they made an amazing thing. Yeah.
Well, I'll see you there next time, maybe, or maybe earlier. Yeah, and I definitely want to do that life purpose journey for you. So I'm at the conference next weekend, but the weekend afterwards I could have make time if you want.
The weekend of the 7th, yeah, it may be possible. Next weekend won't be possible, but the weekend after, yeah.
Okay.
And after I'm just like a little bit off from I think like from the 20. That's a good thing about having a burnout, is to take time for you.
Yeah.
And to be able to say to people, no, I'm not going to be there, and so I'm taking 6 weeks this summer for me.
Very nice. Yeah,
so,
taking time off, very important. And also learning to say no to people who wants more of your time and energy when you don't when you can't cope with it. So that's okay. You don't have to do everything for everybody. And I teach people to prioritize what's most important if you have a lot of jobs to do, like to make decisions fast, like yes, I can do that, no, I can't do that, that will have to wait until I'm finished with this. That's something that's very useful for people who are very busy. So yeah, there's a lot to teach. I hope I can inspire people, and maybe I can take a shot of this video, and if you're okay with it, we can share that around a bit. Is that okay?
I would love if I can help, if my testimonial can help people, if that can open some eyes, I would be really happy to share it.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll let you go so that you don't miss your train.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you very much.
Enjoy Amsterdam.
Yeah, sure.
Stop the video here. There we go. And stop recording.